Welcome to the Regina Queen Show, founder of Uplifting Women in All Walks of Life. We hope you all are having a beautiful day. Life is beautiful. Life is what we make of it. Today I have here with me Rose Marie. Rose Marie is a domestic violence survivor of 13 years. Rose Marie is here today to share her story, to be an inspiration, to encourage those of you who are encountering a domestic violence relationship to come out before it gets too late. Some don't make it out. Hello, Rose Marie. How are you doing today? Thank you for
I'm
being
good,
here
Regina.
on the Regina Queen Show.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I would love for you to share your story here to encourage women to come out of domestic violence. As you know, some are not making it out alive.
Hmm.
And your story here today will encourage women to come out. And not only women, because we do have men that encounter domestic violence as well. And I would like for you to share your story. And please, if you need to take a break and grab some tea or water or anything, and you want to go to a pause, please feel free.
Thank you.
And then you can share your story.
So, my story kind of begins with the fact that my abuser came into my life when I was not at optimal being me. I was feeling pretty low. I was going through some um, issues with family, and I just went through a divorce. And so the family was kind of at odds, and it was just a very negative time in my life. And little by little, I felt like my self-esteem was actually dwindling. And my abuser came into my life while I was at a very low.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that abusers can smell that a mile away. They target the weak. And I was his target. I was an easy prey. I was sad. I was lonely. I was confused. And he came into my life with a lot of promises, a lot of empty promises. But the abuse started very, very, very quickly. Unfortunately, I felt at the time that I really didn't deserve much better because I felt very ashamed that I allowed this man into my life. I felt ashamed that I took his abuse, and I was very ashamed for anyone at work to know what I was going through. I was a victim, but I was also very upset with myself because, you know, you hear this saying like, you know, one time, shame on you, and then after that, shame on me. So yeah, I carried the burden of the shame.
Right.
My life was very much based upon anything that he wanted. Being the abuser, being the monster, he was very narcissistic, as you know. And so in order to keep whatever little piece I was able to keep, I had to really walk on eggshells. My entire relationship with him was walking on eggshells.
Mm.
I was afraid to say the wrong thing. I was definitely afraid to do the wrong thing. And when I say the wrong thing, I don't mean that I purposely set out to do wrong things. It could be something as simple as a scratch on my car. I'd gotten a new car, and I ran into the side of a curb, and I scratched my rims. And although I had tire protection, it ended up being just a horrible, horrible 3 days of verbal torture because he said I didn't deserve a new car. I didn't know how to take care of nice things. And he doesn't know why he allowed me to get a car. So I had to pretty much, I went on my break on work to have them repair my tire, which didn't cost us anything. But it's things like that, that even though it had nothing to do with money, in his mind, I did something wrong. And I didn't deserve to be treated nicely that night because of my negligence. If I said the wrong thing or did the wrong thing, it was met either with verbal abuse, which was pretty bad. The physical abuse was even worse. There was really not much that he did not do to me. I had it all, the punching, the kicking. I was bitten. I was spat upon. And oddly enough, the more he did this to me, the more dependent I felt on him. And I know that sounds really strange, but I felt that at that point, who else would want me? I was too low for anybody to want me. And I was ashamed of myself. If I was ashamed of myself, obviously, everyone that would be in my company and know what I endured would also feel shame towards me. So the physical abuse was easy to cover, you know, makeup. One of his favorite tactics was the chokehold. And so that would leave marks on my neck. And if it was the wintertime, I could wear a turtleneck. If it was the summertime, I would put makeup. But you learn how to cover the bruises. You just have to really teach yourself how to put the mask on, the smile, the pleasantness. When my coworkers, they would see me and they would say, "You're always smiling. You know, you're such a happy person." And in my mind, I'd be like, God, if you only knew what I was going home to. And then at one point, I took my mom in, and he was verbally abusive to her as well. And so he got home from work before I did. And on my ride home, my fear was, did my mother say the wrong thing? Did she come out of her room and bother him? I used to drive home a nervous wreck and pray that when I walked in the door, my mother was in her room, not crying. And he would always greet me with the same thing. Your mother is annoying me. I can't stand to look at her. I don't know why you brought her in here to live with us. He made me promise him that when he was home, she had to stay in her room. So I would bring her dinner in her room. And if she tried to come out of her room to sit with us, all hell broke loose. And so in order to protect me and her, I tried to keep her in her room when he was not around. He hated anything that took me away from him. And that includes my children, my friends. He would use anything that I had ever told him about my life, he would use against me, and he would use it against my children and my mom. He was very jealous of anybody that I would show attention to, you know, my child, my girlfriend. I was always on a time frame. So time was very, very important to me. I used to look at my watch all the time, and I used to think, oh my God, I'm late. I told him I'd get home at 8 and it's 8:30. And when I was late, it was not pretty. I've had my head slammed into the wall. There were many times I thought I was literally going to die. And to be honest, death in itself did not seem so terrible. I didn't want to die at his hands. But the actual thought of not waking up anymore was not so terrible to me. I just didn't want to die violently. I was terrified. And anytime he choked me and I couldn't breathe, I would wonder if that was the day that I was going to die.
Wow.
And I would love to be able to help someone out there, because, you know, these resources that I have been exposed to, they were there. But I was too ashamed and too terrified to reach out. I was terrified. What if he found out? What if he traced my call? What if he looked at my, you know, I was terrified to reach out and to tell anyone. And so if I was able to, I would love to have turned the hands of time back and reached out to all of these amazing resources that I have learned through the years that were available then.
Yeah.
And thank God are still available now.
Yes, yes.
My end came at a very costly price, because I thought that night in particular, I really thought I was going to die. And he had cornered me, and I reached for a knife, and I begged him to just let me run past him. And he laughed and kept coming towards me. I had nowhere to go. And in the struggle, he ended up getting wounded. And he went off to the hospital. I went off to jail. So even though I was the victim, unfortunately that night, I was the perpetrator. And I spent Christmas, I spent 6 days in jail. And I was not treated very nicely. I was treated like a criminal. And I was not a criminal. I was defending myself for the first time in 13 years.
Wow.
And he ended up in the hospital. And when my children were notified and they came into the home, they told me it was pretty bad. I, in the struggle, had cut his artery in his leg. In trying to get the knife from me, he body slammed me and broke my ribs. By the grace of God, I found this inner strength that I didn't even know I had. And I escaped barefoot, no coat, December 22nd, but I survived. And I went to my neighbor's house and I banged on the door, and I told them my mother was still in there. And they came, the police came, and I thought they were going to help me, but they arrested me. And so I had to fight to prove that it was self-defense. I don't want anybody else to go through that, because I'll tell you the truth. It took me a long time to come to grips with that night. It could have been me, and I could have been dead.
Yes.
But I am living to tell my story, and hopefully there's one woman or 100 women out there right now that are watching me that can say, I don't want it to come to that point. I need to find these resources. I don't want to be Rosemary, and I don't want to be in jail, and I don't want this terrible thing hanging over my head. And I hope that these women out there realize that I was very lucky. I was blessed. Not everybody is that lucky. And my children could have come home that day to find me dead.
Exactly. Exactly. You are so blessed to come out after
I
going
am.
through
I am very blessed.
13 years
Yeah.
of domestic
Even
violence
my best
being
friends did
tortured.
not know. They did not know. Nobody had any idea what I was going through. And people need to know. You need to tell. You need to reach out to your best friend, your boss, your mailman. I don't care who it is, but you have to tell. You have to tell. You have to reach out and grab those resources. There are so many out there.
Yes, it is. Did anyone in your family at that time knew that you were in domestic violence?
They did, but not to the extent. I hid about 80% of it. They did know. My children, unfortunately, a couple of them had witnessed his violence.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they wanted me to leave him. I know that. And now looking back, I wish I would have relied on their strength and left in the middle of the night, or when he was at work, reached out to the domestic hotlines. But I didn't. I was so ashamed of myself, and I was at such a low. I just can't explain it, but I felt like that was my lot in life.
Yes.
And I had to endure it because I chose him.
Yes.
Nobody forced me to be with him. I chose him. And because of that, I felt this guilt because I also brought him into the life of my children, and they did not choose him. I did. And I made a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake.
Did he abuse you in front of your family members at any time?
I know that he had verbally abused me many times in front of my family. The physical abuse, I know that a couple of my children saw it, and my one son saw it. I have 8 children. Mm-hmm. From the same man, not this man, from my first marriage. And the older ones, they did not see any of it. My son saw it once, and I know that my 2 youngest daughters have seen his physical violence. Yes.
Did it affect any of your children?
I'm sorry?
Did it affect any of your children?
Oh, yes. First of all, I believe that it probably gave them emotional scars. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, I don't know, but mm-hmm. I can't imagine seeing your mom degraded and humiliated and verbally and physically assaulted and it not have any effect on you. I can't imagine that. I never witnessed anything like that, but just going through it myself, I'm still in therapy. I work in workbooks on PTSD. I grab any literature I can to enlighten myself and also to help me forgive myself. That's a very hard thing, to forgive oneself. It's very hard.
Yes. And Rosemarie, from the times that he have abused you, you said he choked you, he slammed your head into the walls and mm-hmm. and just verbally and mentally and physical abuse you. Mm-hmm. I really believe that the emotional and mental abuse is physical is bad, and I believe the mental and emotional abuse at times could be worse because
I agree.
Once the mental comes in, mm-hmm. the mental abuse comes in, it fears, the mind goes into fear, and mm-hmm. we won't reach out and mm-hmm. get help. And mm-hmm. but what I would ask you, with the physical abuse, the scratches, the beating, the kicking, did you have pictures throughout that 13 years, and did you press charges on him throughout that 13 years where it was recorded and they knew he was abusing you?
Yes.
because
I did.
you said that they turned around and arrested you for self-defense, and then you get treated
Yes.
really bad in the jails. But did you have all
Yes.
of this recorded before they took you in? And did they take that in account in the courtrooms? Any?
Well, the thing is, the pictures, no, but I had him arrested a couple times. At one point, like now I have another domestic, I mean, the restraining order. I had one before, and I never understood what the cycle of domestic violence was. I think they call it like the honeymoon phase or something like that. I never understood it then because I wanted to believe so badly that he was sorry, that he didn't mean it. He blamed it on he had a condition called RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy. So he blamed a lot of it on his pain. He also blamed it on the fact that his father abused his mom. He claimed, my husband, he claimed that he also abused his first wife. He would drink heavily and be on very high doses of oxycodone that were prescribed to him, but the combination of that and the alcohol, made him very aggressively strong and just, it's almost like he didn't feel anything, like he was blank, like his eyes were blank. And those were some of the worst times. And I used to go with him to his doctor appointments. And so many times I wanted to take this doctor aside and say, please don't let me leave. Please, I'm going home with a monster. You're prescribing him these heavy doses of medicine and you don't know what it's doing, And then like anything else, I would put my coat on and I would walk out that door with him, knowing, it was days or weeks in between, but I knew it was coming. And then he would buy me flowers. He would buy me all sorts of pretty things from my curios and jewelry. He would take me out to dinner. He would even shed a tear. I'm so sorry, you don't deserve it. And when I would ask him, when he wasn't high or drunk, and I would say, why? And he would simply say, I don't know. And I would look at him and say, I don't know is enough. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I go crazy sometimes and you don't deserve it. And I'm sorry. And I promise it'll never happen again. You know how many times I was told it would never happen again? 13 years of it. And I did tell him the one time I said, because he attacked me the night of my daughter's wedding in a very, very violent way. He was very jealous because I was taking pictures with the bridal party and my ex-husband was in it. And so because of that, he tortured me. And he physically attacked me that night of my daughter's wedding. And I remember saying to him that night, and my daughter was the one actually that was not supposed to be in the house at the time, and she was. And I always said, I believe she saved my life. Because I think that night he would have gone too far.
Wow.
And I told him that night that if he ever touched me again, one of us would go to the morgue and one of us would go to jail. Well, he didn't go to the morgue, but he did go to the hospital, but I did go to jail.
Yes.
But you want to know something, Regina?
Yes.
Everything that I went through, that I had such a hard time forgiving, letting go, everything that I went through, there was a reason. It made me the person that I am today. It did.
Yes.
I used to pray so hard, but it wasn't God's time,
Yes.
I know that God wanted me to reach out. I do know that. I know that he wanted me to reach out.
Yes.
But I know that God knew what he had in mind for me. And he had a wonderful life in store for me where
Yes.
I'm no longer in
You really
pain. I
do.
don't suffer. I'm not
Yes.
afraid anymore.
Yes. And that is why
I'm happy.
that is why you are here today. And,
Yes.
and Rosemary, when during the time that because 13 years is a very, very long time to be in a domestic violence relationship, to be tortured. Um,
Mhm.
it's and your story sounds like a horror movie, and
Mhm. Yeah.
um, you know some people have been in domestic violence longer than 13 years. Some people can go for 20 years and then don't make it out
Yeah.
alive. What would you tell women who are still encountering a long-term domestic violence relationship and scared to come out? And can you tell us that? And then can you tell us why did you choose to stay that long? And you know, what can you do? You give some women some hints and tips
Yeah.
of how to come out, because some are in, the same amount of the time frame, 13 years, and some is in for 20, like I said, and even longer.
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
don't just go out. We just don't leave. We stay, because we're looking to be loved, and
Yes.
what would you tell women? How,
I would tell women, first of all, you have to think about the reason why you're staying. And you asked me what was one of the main reasons. I was financially terrified. Okay. I was a stay-at-home mom my whole life, so I didn't have a work history. And I went like from little job to little job. And then I finally ended up working, a couple of jobs that I really liked, but I really didn't have work history. And so I hadn't built up, enough money to be able to be on my own. And I was terrified. And I thought, it's his paycheck that is paying the mortgage. My paychecks were helping towards the utilities or the food, but I knew I could have never survived in that house without his paycheck. Looking back now, I wish that I put it in my head that it would be better if I lived in a shoebox than to live like that.
Yes.
But all I kept thinking was, I can't make it on my own. And your abuser, many times, I know mine did, reminded me of that without him, I would be in the street, or not that any of my children would let me be in the street, but this is what he would say to me, without me, you're going to lose this house and you're not going to be able to do this and do that. And, and so they play on your weakness. I think for some women, it's that they have children, little children, that they are so afraid because how will I, provide for my child? And, they may even be afraid that their spouse might go after their child for custody. I didn't have that fear because he wasn't the father of any of my children, but I had the fear of the finances.
Right.
And I think what I would say to women, anybody that's listening to me right now, please, please don't make the same mistake that I did. Please, safety first,
Yes.
foremost, and always safety first.
Yes.
But there's going to be a time you're alone. There's going to be a time you can pick up that phone. You might have a neighbor that you trust, and you could be outside gardening or hanging your laundry. He won't even know you're talking to them. Have a plan. Have a plan in motion. Go to someone, anyone that will hear you, that you trust. If
Yes.
you have children in the house, have a safe place for them to go. Their job is not to protect you, it's to protect themselves. But they need a safe place to go to in the event of the altercation.
Yes.
But if it's not about the children, reach out, go to the domestic violence hotlines. They have so many resources, even for helping women with affordable housing. I know that there's one program, I believe I wrote it
Yes.
down, Safe Place, where, you know, they'll put you up for 90 days, even
Yeah.
if you have a child, and they will
Yes.
give you 3 meals a day.
Yes. Yes.
But you need to reach out, reach
Yeah,
out.
they need to reach out and get use some of those resources, because they do have resources
Yes,
nationwide for domestic violence,
absolutely.
as domestic violence is on the rise um, every single day. You know, it's
Yes,
nonstop, and so that's why, you know, we are here being a voice to help women um, to come out. You know, to encourage women to
yes,
come out of domestic violence.
yes,
And that is why we are here today with Rose Marie. She's sharing her story to encourage men to, men and women, whoever are encountering a domestic violence relationship, to come out before it gets too late. And then Rose Marie,
yes.
I would like to ask you, have you ever been hospitalized due to domestic violence from your perpetrator, from the perpetrator?
Um, I had gone to the hospital to be checked out, but I was never hospitalized.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when he, that night in question, the last night, when he broke my ribs, um, I should have been treated, and instead, I'm so sorry. And instead,
It's okay.
I was made to climb on a top bunk in a jail cell,
Mm-hmm.
which was excruciating with my broken ribs. And I laid in that bed for 6 days, and I realized, I
Mm-hmm.
prayed and prayed and prayed, and I realized, had I reached out the first time when I put the restraining order on him,
Mm-hmm.
if I just didn't take it back, the first, second, third, or 23rd time that he struck me, if I would have said this is enough, then I would have called the domestic violence hotline. I could have reached out to those shelters.
Mm-hmm.
I could have snuck out in the middle of the night. This is why I tell women that I meet or talk to, have an emergency kit.
Mm-hmm.
Plant it somewhere, maybe your neighbor's home, maybe if he checks your car, maybe, you know, leave it with a friend or a relative. Your necessary papers, you know, IDs, extra car keys. You know, it's so important to have these ways that you can escape, that you're not. I mean, I literally ran out of the house barefoot
Mm-hmm.
with no coat, you know, and
Yes.
fighting for my life.
Did
If
anyone hear you?
only somebody would have told me, you know, or I watched a video
Did
like
any,
this and
did
I would have
anyone,
said,
did anyone, Rosemary, did anyone hear you when you ran out the house screaming for your life?
well, that's when I ran to my next door neighbors, barefoot, freezing, pounding on their door. And
Did
they
he come
had a
after
Ring
you?
camera.
Did he come
I'm
after,
sorry?
did he come after you as you were
No,
running from?
no, no. And I know why. It's because he was bleeding profusely. And when they entered the home, the police, my children, they said that it was really like a horror movie scene. And he had taken all these towels and he was trying to, like, I guess, help himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the funny thing, well, not the funny thing is, but I guess I blacked out a little bit, because I think, you know, there are times that, like, I don't remember things. And I think it's because of the trauma that I
Mm-hmm.
think it kind of suppresses memories in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But in my memory, I thought I had bolted out the door, and here my handprints showed that he had been chasing me through the home.
Mm-hmm.
And I blacked that out of my memory, but it was definitely my handprint. So how in God's name he chased me through this house and I made it out the door still holding the knife, it's a miracle. it's really nothing short of a miracle.
Was that the last time that you took his abuse? That day, that
Yes.
night you ran out the house?
Yes.
That was the last time you took that abuse from him?
Yes. I went to jail. He went to the hospital. And I filed for divorce. And I was legally divorced as of August 17th. And I resumed my maiden name.
Wait, hold on one second,
And
Rosemary. I would like to ask you, hold that thought. Do you believe if you would have not made it out of that house that night, do you believe you would not be alive today?
Absolutely. With every fiber of my being, I believed that would have been the end of my life. He would have killed me. When he got a hold of my arm after I had cut him, and it was not my intention to hurt him. I've never hurt anybody in my life physically like that. And when he grabbed my arm, he told me he was going to kill me in very explicit language.
He was ready.
And I believed it. He was going to kill me, especially because I had hurt him. And that's the first time I ever hurt him. He has hurt me physically and mentally for 13 years. That's the first time he got a wound from me. And he was going to kill me. Without a shadow of doubt, he was going to kill me.
And during the whole 13 years, did you want him to just love you?
I prayed for it. I did, because I figured, way.
Not in his abusive way, but in a loving, more compassion, in a special way.
Yes, I wanted to be
love.
I wanted to be important enough to love me tenderly and compassionately, not controllably and with ugly words and painful situations and bruises and bite marks. And no, I just wanted him to be I wanted him to treat me the way I treated him, with respect, with love, with kindness, gentleness.
Yes.
Love shouldn't have pain involved.
No.
Shouldn't have scars. Just shouldn't. That's not love, that's control. And I believe, in my opinion, all abusers of that degree like that, I believe they're cowards.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I believe he's a total coward.
Either a man or a woman.
And it shocked him. It shocked him that I got the better of him. I was not going to make it out of there if it was up to him. I believe that.
Do you still have, or do you have nightmares today?
I haven't had one in a while. When it first happened, I couldn't go back into that home for a long time. I stayed with my daughter. They actually had to hire a team to come in and clean. That's how bad it was. I knew eventually I had to go back there, but I was terrified. I used to hear every little noise in the middle of the night. I swore he was coming back for me. I swore that. But he didn't. And I went on to prove that it was self-defense. And he went on to do whatever he's doing right now. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. You are resilient. You really are. Very brave.
Thank you.
Very brave.
Regina, I had a wonderful network of friends, my children, who embraced me and made me strong when I thought I was ready to quit many times. They were my backbone. And I'm eternally grateful to my children, my friends, I have a very good therapist, and now I have a wonderful man in my life that treats me with the utmost respect and dignity and love and kindness that I can't even believe. God knew what was waiting for me at the end of my road. And I have to tell you, it's pretty amazing.
Yes. 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 Wow. That is so, wow. You are so resilient for this, you know, coming out the way you came out. And,
Thank you.
no, you just wouldn't tolerate any more abuse. And, you know, we have
No,
a high percentage of victims who have not made it out, and you know, and it left a horrible impact on their family. And
so sad.
I know your children were so proud of you and so happy for you, and that you came out of that
They
alive,
are.
well and
They
alive.
are.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And
Yes, they
I would
are.
like to ask you, if it's okay with you,
Hmm.
um, um, because I've seen some pictures of you, beautiful, beautiful pictures of you on your Facebook page. And is with the guy, is he your husband? Are you married now?
I am not married, but I'm engaged to him.
Congratulations. And you
Thank
look
you.
so happy. And I am
Thank
so
you.
happy that you have someone in your life now who makes you happy. And
Yes, he
I
does.
know
He
he
does.
does he support you sharing your story here today? Was he okay
Oh,
with
yes.
that? Like
Oh, yes.
being a
He
voice?
supports me in everything I do. Like I said, I have my children that so supportive. My girlfriends, you know, I have a wonderful network. I'm
Yes,
very blessed.
yes, 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 yes. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy for you all. I'm so happy
Thank
for
you.
you all. And then where where is the perpetrator now? Is he in prison somewhere, or is he
Oh no, he
beating
never had to
somebody
do
else?
any time because he was the victim.
He was. Oh yeah, he turned out to be. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
But
I'm
you want to know
sorry.
something, Regina? He
Mm,
told me that I would lose my home and I would have nowhere to go.
mm.
Guess who ended up in a homeless shelter? He did.
You know, the big universe does not like ugly. So
I
karma
know.
is a bitch. And
Yes.
sorry, had to say it. For people
No.
like that, yes, you know, to torture somebody for so many years,
Yes.
and you're not only torturing us, you are torturing the entire family, you know, and
Yes.
yourself, you know, and your
Oh yeah.
family, other people too. It affects so many people. It leaves a horrible impact, you know,
Yes.
on so
He
many people.
actually has 3 children from his first marriage, and he has nothing to do with them. They want nothing to do with him. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, maybe they shouldn't, you know, they maybe they more are more safe being away
Oh yeah.
from them, because once a I hate to say once an abuser, always an abuser. I know people turn their lives around and change lives, but I wouldn't trust my life in a man's hand who
No,
has abused a woman for 13 years. I would
I
take,
agree.
I'm glad that you took every measurement. You used all your strategies to come out and living a beautiful life now.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I just want to call you Rose Marie Regina Queen.
Yes, that's my name.
Yes, we have the same name, everyone.
We do.
And Rosemary name is Regina as well. And we are
Mhm.
queens. The origin of
Yes, we
our
are.
name, Regina, is Latin, meaning queen. And this
Yes,
is
it
Regina Queen
does.
here with me today on the Regina Queen Show, sharing her story, being an inspiration to encourage every person that is encountering a domestic violence relationship to come out before it gets too late. And
Yes.
please, Rosemary, I would love for you. I mean, you're just so amazing to me to be here. And
Thank
like I
you.
said, my middle name is Marie, everyone.
I
And this is
I know we have so
Rosemary
much in
Regina.
common.
Yes, yes. So, you know, that's just, you know, confirmation of we are queens, you know, and God, you
Yes,
know,
we are.
using us
Yes,
to
we
be in
are.
service to his people. And
Yep.
um, We
Yeah,
love
I
people.
agree.
Yes, the broken. We love you all. And if anyone is in a domestic violence relationship, please reach out to us, and we will
Yes,
do our best to guide you to get resources and to help you come out
yes,
and in a
yes.
safe manner. And
Hmm.
Rosemary, can you please give people here today who is encountering a domestic violence relationship a message, a tips of how they can come out, and also before we go, if you can give the survivors a message too, as well.
Okay. My message first to the survivors is congratulations. I am so proud of you. I know your family and friends are proud of you. God bless each and every one of you. To the victims that are still out there that have not gotten away yet, I plead with you to reach out to the domestic violence hotlines. They will steer you in the right direction, whether you need housing, food, shelter, um, a place for the weekend, a place for a month. If your children need resources, they can provide counseling and all sorts of wonderful avenues for you to go. But remember one thing, please, safety first. Don't fall into the pattern that I did, because I was very fortunate, but it may not have ended that way.
Yes.
Please be safe. Plan a route. Plan your first phone call. Have your emergency kits available. Trust someone. Go to someone. So many people that now know my story, my friends, say to me, if only you would have come to me. If only you would have told me. If only. These are the if onlys you can't get back. I can't get that back. But it's not too late for you. Please. If you're out there, please hear me. Be safe. Plan your move wisely, but trust someone. Tell someone that you trust, and be safe. That's all I beg of you. Be safe. Don't
Yes.
do it in front of him. Even know the door you're going to use to leave, the window you might use, the extra set of car keys, have them made, extra money. Get together a little bit of extra money and keep it at your neighbor's house or your coworker, so that you have something in case you have to flee in the middle of the night. You have gas money, you have transportation money, bus
Yes.
money.
Yes.
Plan,
Yes.
plan.
Yes. Plan safely in a safely safe
Yes.
manner. And also, you know, Rosemary, um, yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I was getting ready to say something else, but it's just my heart. I can feel the pain of other victims right now. You
Uh,
know,
Me
this
too.
stuck. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we'll just keep our faith that they come out and get this message. And I was watching the news. I want to say before we go, I was watching the news this morning, and they were saying that they were letting out prisoners due to COVID. And I was terrified, and I was thinking about domestic violence,
Oh, yeah.
and I was thinking
Yeah.
about the victims of domestic violence,
Yeah.
abusers who are in prisons, and hoping that they will
Yeah.
not come out and come after them. And then they
Sure.
did say at the end of the news clip, they did say that they're not letting out anyone who has a domestic violence record. And I was shouting, I jumped
Oh,
up and I said,
wow.
yes, great.
Nice.
Yes. So
Oh,
they
amen.
have a
Amen.
domestic
Nice.
violence record.
Yes.
Everyone, if you're,
Oh.
everyone who is encountering a domestic violence relationship and your perpetrator is in prison right
Mm.
now or county jail, he
Mm-hmm.
will not,
Be
here in
released.
California, he will not be released due to COVID. If you have a
Thank
domestic.
God, thank God, thank God. I mean, I have a restraining order and I advise everybody. However, it is just a piece of paper when you really think about it. That's why you have to be safe and have your guard up at all times, because a piece of paper to these abusers is nothing.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that
You're welcome.
safety tip. It was very much needed. And I'm sure someone will hear this message and it will save a life. And
I
that's why
hope
we are
so.
here, to be a voice.
Yes.
And thank you
Yes.
so much, Rose Marie, for being here with me, being a guest here today on the Regina Queen Show. I really do appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you, Regina. Thank you.
Yes.
I have been praying to be able to have my voice heard, and you were my messenger.
In the,
So
in the
thank you.
time, huh? Yeah. Yes. And that's why we are here, to be a service, and we have a purpose. And this is our
Yes.
purpose. This is our purpose.
Yes.
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 Thank you so much. And
My
you have a
pleasure.
beautiful, beautiful night. And congratulations
Thank
again
you.
to your engagement. I'm very happy for
Thank you.
you and your family.
Thank you.
And let's continue, to lock arms and,
Oh, yes.
spread awareness.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yep. We are connected now.
Yes, yes. Regina Queen.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Regina Queen. Yes. Yes. So thank you everyone for being here with us today on the Regina Queen Show. We want to thank all our viewers and everyone who has left comments in the comment. You have some viewers that reached out to you in the comments, and we thank you all for being here supporting Rose Marie as she shared her story. As you can see, it's a very sensitive, touching, heartbreaking story, and Rose Marie have the courage to share her story, and we thank you all. Have a beautiful,
Thank you. God bless.
beautiful night. God bless everyone. Yes.
God bless.